Alright, what's going on? Auntie Chang! Kindly Chang is in the midst of emptying 2 plastic shopping bags when you enter. She places the contents in a pile on her mahjong table, 2 liquor bottles without labels, a box of her thin black cigars, an assortment of individually wrapped gourmet chocolates, and a large caliber pistol with electrical tape wrapped around its grip. Ah, good. You're here. She finishes with the plastic bags and throws them to the floor. It seems like forever since we saw each other. Welcome back. Was your trip worthwhile? Her voice is filled with a rusty energy. Yes, my darling, yes. I met with several contacts within my network who referred me to others in neighboring cities. Regardless of how far technology moves forward, tradition demands that some things be handled face to face. I have returned with information that will lead you to the plastic-faced man, the man who killed Raymond Black. Excellent. While you were gone, we uncovered a relationship between Josephine Sang and Raymond Black. The Triad woman's eyes narrow. Did you? And what was it you uncovered? He's fiction. Made up. His real name is Edward Sang. Fiction, eh? Her brow furrows. Josephine's son, Edward. So, that explains where he went when he disappeared years ago. Seattle. Any idea why he disappeared? No, just that he went missing after Josephine completed rebuilding the walled city. That was in the early 30s. Her face twists into a mask of disgust. You realize what this means, don't you, my sweet? That inbred little goat whore was cold enough to have her own son executed. You said you had news of your own. I told you mine, now tell me yours. And your news was fascinating, my sweet. Disgusting and riveting. But my news will give you what you need to move forward. Oh, that one snuck up on me. She grabs a bottle and opens it. I know the identity of the plastic-faced man. His name is Li Tai Lung, and he's an independent contractor, a trusted, deniable asset who handles all of Josephine Sang's more delicate operations off the books and away from the public eye. The plastic-faced man is her shadowy right hand outside of the corporation. Shang doesn't bother with a glass. She takes a long pull off the stinking bottle and wipes her mouth with the back of her hand. And I know how to find him, too. I have made contact with an information broker. Oh, God. Shuji? Who works out of an abandoned night market in Shepkip, May, called the Xing House Court. It's not hard to find. She takes another pull on the bottle. Ugh. Xiao Shi? Xiao? Xiao. Xiao Shi. Xiao. I'm actually curious how we pronounce this. I'm going to Google. I'm gonna Google Xiao Shi pronunciation. Let's see. Zayashi? What?
Zayashi.
Is that right? I don't know if that's right. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, sure. That's, not how I expected that to be pronounced at all. Then again, I don't speak Mandarin or Cantonese, so actually, I guess it's Mandarin. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, sure. Xiaoxie has gained access to the plastic-faced man's complete itinerary, where he'll be, who he'll be with, what sort of security he'll have, the works. She grins, glassy-eyed. You can use it to perform an extraction. Grab him and find out what he knows. Did you find out why Lee has a face made of plastic? It's not just his face. Li Tailong's entire skull is synthetic. He's designed himself to be the perfect corporate operative. He's installed a unique piece of hardware, you see. It allocates and compartmentalizes client-related memories so that they can be erased upon the completion of a job. And as an added security measure, this cortical implant will wipe his memory if it detects that he's been captured. So we need to find a way to circumvent the implant. Exactly. Unless you can find a way around the cortical implant, you'll have no way to extract the information he has and figure out what happened to Raymond Black. She circles the mouth of the bottle with her finger. Now, I've done my part in this, my darling. You need to find a way to neutralize that device. Isabel interjects, her voice breaking slightly as she speaks. I know a way. I've heard of something like this before. I met someone in the Matrix who had to shirk a similar memory wipe implant once. It was a requirement for a big job, and she pulled it off. Keep talking. Her handle is Dreamland, and I know where to find her. All that we have to do is convince her to give up the secret of how she did it. Okay, Isabel and I will go see Dreamland before we hit the information broker. Then we grab the plastic-faced man. No matter who you choose to help you snatch this guy, I'm gonna be there when you extract the information from him about Raymond. Will crosses his arms across his chest, then tilts his head towards you. You got that, Bubusky? We should all be there. Gobbet's eyebrows arch high. I know that I want to see this. Very good, my darlings. Now listen to me. After you get what you need from the plastic-faced man, I want you to end him. You understand? The Triad boss taps the table with her finger. I need to send a very clear message that this is what happens when you mess with Kindly Cheng's operations. With Kindly Cheng's people, Josephine takes Nightjar, I take her plastic-faced man. Once you snatch the plastic-faced man, Sang will know something is happening, and events will unfold very quickly after that. You'd best close out any pressing business you have before heading to Shep Kip Mei to see Xiao Xi. Do you understand? Once I snatch the plastic-faced man, I turn off the lights in the Shadowrun store and lock the door. Check. Such a colorful way of saying it. Kindly Cheng wraps on the mahjong table with an imitation ivory tile. Just be sure your affairs are in order before you head to see the information broker. Alright, so what she's saying there is that once we go get the plastic-faced man, it is endgame time. So I do believe we have a number of jobs that we have left to do. And we should probably do them. Because, you probably want to explore the full breadth of what this game has to offer. Jobs directory, view all pending jobs. There's only 2. The Geomantic Sabotage one is the one that I like a lot. That one's really good. So let's do that one. I think we've read that one in a previous episode, right? Wait. Oh no, we have 3 left. We have okay, yeah, we have the one where we have to go loot a museum, which will be fun. I like that one a lot. That's a good one too. Hey Dunko. The clanking of metal, followed by grunts from hard exercise, erupt from the hatchway of Wu's cabin. The first thing you notice when you enter is its renewed cleanliness. The food cans are gone and his equipment is neatly laid out on his bedding. Everything in its place. The next thing you notice is the smell. It's like a middle school locker room in July. Wu finishes his jumping jacks and grabs a towel off his bunk. His exposed flesh gleams with perspiration.
Hey.
Wu, open a porthole. This place reeks.
Do you see a porthole, Bubuski? This is an interior cabin, not the best for ventilation. But I don't think you came by to check on my hygiene. What's your deal?
Still thinking about Edward Sang? He rubs the towel under his arms.
Compartmentalized him. Edward Sang is a topic in a file cabinet in my head. I'm only thinking about Raymond now, finding out what happened to him. What really happened to him.
Taking it a moment at a time, huh?
That's me, Mr. Focus.
He continues stretching. We're getting close to the plastic-faced man, Duncan.
I know. I haven't stopped thinking about him since we first saw him in that video. The one where he attacked Raymond in the tea house.
He wipes down one side of his neck with a towel, folds it, wipes down the other side.
Listen, Bubuski, I'm not gonna press you to take me with you when you head out to snatch him. You take the right people for the job and then you get the job done, okay? But I want to be there when you interrogate him. I want to hear what he has to say with my own ears. Are you gonna have a problem with that?
No, of course not.
Good. You're my sister. I'd hate to have to mess you up.
He flashes his pearly whites.
Like I said, you can take me with you on the run or not. It's your call. But I intend to be there for the fun part.
Easy, Duncan. This is about Raymond, not hurting people for kicks.
Knock off the easy Duncan crap, Bubuski. I'm not doing anything for kicks.
He drops his towel on his bunk.
This is the guy who knows what the hell is going on. The one who may have killed Raymond. And I'm gonna squeeze him until I find out what he knows.
You'll squeeze whom I tell you to, when I tell you to, and as hard as I tell you to. Got it?
I got it.
Wu drops his hands to his sides and closes the gap between you. His voice is calm, sober, deliberate.
I really got it. This is Raymond we're talking about. I'm not gonna screw anything up.
You told me you were resentful when I took off, but maybe it was about how Raymond handled that thing with Double Tray.
Nah, it was about you disappearing for 8 years without a word. But we're past that now.
Wu pulls his right elbow across his chest with his left hand, gets a good stretch.
But that was a messed up night. A lot of things happened and I wouldn't be surprised if some, I don't know, emotions got jumbled together.
Stuff about the old gang?
That was part of it, sure. I'm still carrying that around. But mostly it was about Raymond. We'd butted heads before, I'd broken plenty of his rules in the past, but I'd never seen him so disappointed. I'm still not sure why, never figured it out.
Why don't you walk through it from the beginning? Start with when Lockjaw showed up at Ray's house. Wu pulls his left elbow across his chest and lets out a little groan.
So this was 2045. Years after the summer we moved in with Raymond. We hadn't seen DT or Lockjaw or any of the gang in forever. Raymond's rules, no contact with our hoodlum friends. No visiting the squad to check up on them.
Your past is just a story. If you can accept that, your past loses all power over you. Wu wrinkles his nose.
You don't sound anything like him. The way I remember it, we woke up in the middle of the night and there was Lockjaw, standing in our room covered in blood. My first thought was that Raymond was gonna kill us. Can you imagine? There's a teenage Salish Indian covered in blood in our bedroom, and my first thought was that I might get in trouble for it.
Raymond was an intimidating guy when we were young.
Isn't that weird? I towered over him, and it just didn't matter. The little man just had that way of looking at you. That tone.
Wu throws his elbow behind him, twists at his waist.
So Lockjaw's bleeding all over our bedroom and you whisper yelling, "Where's DT? What happened to Double Tray?" 5 minutes later, we're dressed in black and on our way back to the Barrens.
We had to.
Of course. If it wasn't for Double Tray, neither of us would be here right now. DT was the one who took us to the teen center, introduced us to Raymond. Man, that was a messed up night. The 162s had overrun the Leary squad, better positioned to take on the nukes. Benzo and Tusk were bleeding out, the Hernandez family was half-eaten, and little Joe, that streetwalker with the electric false eyelashes, was lying on the floor in 2 parts.
But we got Double Trey out alive.
He was the only one, though.
Wu stares at his boot.
I can still hear Lockjaw screaming as the ghouls took him down. When the 162s wanted something they did not play. Anyway, all of that was just lead up.
He lets out a long, slow breath.
But still, it speaks to my state of mind that night. Why I wouldn't back down when Raymond met us at the door.
Neither one of you would budge.
We both had the strength of the righteous. You and I had broken his rules out of loyalty, out of gratitude. He just didn't get that.
He never understood where we came from.
And now we know why. He wasn't just some do-gooder who took in some street kids. He was a rich guy used to getting his way. That's what made him so furious.
I don't know. That seems reductive, I think. Cause like, I don't know, like the way Raymond talks in the opening cutscene, it seems he cares more deeply for Alley Cat and Duncan than I don't know, than the game itself would let on. And I think this seems more likely. Ray seems like a good dude, I guess, in most ways. I mean, he's obviously emotionally abusive, but you know, he means well. Like, I don't know, he took both of them in, I guess, out of the goodness of his heart. Like, there's no other reason for him to have done it. It's not like he anticipated, like, having to go back to Hong Kong and needing to ask for their help, you know? So I don't know if he had any ulterior motives in bringing them in. So, I don't know. I don't think this is accurate. I don't know, Duncan. I think it's because he thought we were playing him.
I never thought of it that way before.
Wu rubs his head, thinking.
He didn't just think we had broken his rules or that we'd backslid. He thought that we were still street hoods, that we were milking him, using him. No wonder he was so angry. He felt betrayed. But you were able to get him to calm down and see reason. Get him to see my side of the story. And all you said was that one thing. That thing he said his mother used to say to him when he was obstinate. What the hell was it?
I like the second one a lot more. That's a good message. He understands badly who listens badly.
He understands badly who listens badly.
Wu nods his head, remembering.
Yeah, that listens badly thing really got to him. He was really ashamed of himself for flying off the handle. Using his mother's words on him really did the trick. I wonder what kind of childhood he had.
He rubs his chin.
But the way he looked at you after that...
Crazy. He was furious with you, but all I did is quote his mother and I got the big chill.
Maybe he's got mommy issues.
Wu chuckles humorlessly.
And who knows? Maybe I've got a few daddy issues to deal with too. Guess I should try and keep an open mind when we see him.
Okay, let's go. We need to talk to Gobbet. We have things to talk to Gobbet about. Depending on whether or not Gobbet actually wants to talk about it right now. Hey, Gobbet! Stepping into Gobbet's cabin, you find her crouching on the floor. She appears to be midway through a valiant struggle against an enormous pastry. Her cheeks bulged out like a chipmunk's, and wispy threads of pork floss hang from her crumb-speckled lips. She glances up at you, her eyes wide with alarm. I'm not gonna voice that. Her jaw works to manage the enormous quantity of crispy dough in her mouth, but she doesn't seem to be making much headway. You know, between the two of you, my money is on the pastry. She struggles to move her jaw, but her mouth is stuffed too full for her to make much headway. She gestures feebly toward a pitcher of water on the ground near your feet. What will you give me for it? Her eyes narrow. With her cheeks overstuffed as they are, the effect is less threatening than it is comical. She raises her hands, fingers splayed, and holds them at shoulder length, a typical spellcasting posture. If you make a poison cloud in here, you'll die too, just saying. Scowling through cheeks wadded with pastry, she rises from her perch and stalks over to you. She snatches the pitcher off of the ground, lifts it to her mouth, and tilts it back. As the water pours into her mouth, she's slowly able to work through the food stored in her cheeks. Finally, she lowers the water pitcher, coughing. Okay, yeah, note to self. The pastry terrace on Prince Edward Road makes them dry. She takes another swig from the pitcher, grimacing. Moist green apple and jellied trotter my ass. That thing was like a desert made of pig. Maybe you shouldn't have tried to cram the entire thing into your mouth at once. I was challenging myself for science. And it wasn't the whole pastry, it was just half of one. She lifts the remaining pastry for your inspection. The pork floss that coats its exterior looks almost festive. It's more reminiscent of a beige curly tinsel than it is of food. You want the rest? Sure, I'll take it. She blinks in surprise. Really? Sure then. It's all yours. Here, catch. She tosses the remaining pastry to you. It sails through the air, glistening suggestively in the dim cabin light. You snatch the flying pork brick out of the air. It's surprisingly dense, with a heft roughly equivalent to that of a softball. You raise the pastry to your lips and take a bite. Seconds later, you can feel all of the moisture in your mouth evaporate. Gobbet wasn't lying. This thing is dry. The flavor is surprisingly palatable, though. She blinks at you in astonishment. Huh, I can't believe you actually ate that. I'm impressed. If I ever get another of those again, I'm gonna let it sit in a bowl of condensed milk for at least half an hour before I try putting it in my mouth. That might help. I don't know. Reconstitute it, I guess? I don't know. It might work. Anyway, you probably want to talk about what happened on the raft, huh? I think that in your place, I would. Let's talk about what happened on the sinking ship. Yeah, she sighs. We can do that. First off, I should thank you. You and Iz came to help me even though I didn't ask you to, or want you to. Actually, maybe I should be upset about that, but the important thing is that you did help me. I'm not gonna say that I couldn't have handled it without you, but it would have been really, really dicey. I don't think you could have done much, Gobbet, not after seeing what Malvina had turned the lower level into. I don't want to argue about it. Let's just say that it's a good thing you were there. She shuffles her feet, stirring a pile of dirty blankets on the floor. What we walked into on that raft, well, it was pretty terrible. More so than I could have imagined. On the bright side, we overthrew Malvina and put the raft back in Cad's hands. That feels pretty great. And the shiny object is at the bottom of Hung Hom Bay, lodged in a bank of silt and crab shit. That's pretty much where it belongs. But I've gotta admit, something is gnawing at me. Before you and Iz showed up, I was gonna sink the raft. I'd gotten halfway through arming the charges, and I was gonna send the whole sinking ship down in flames. Everyone on it would have died, Cad and Yasmin, all of them. All because I made up my mind early and didn't want to change it. Kinda makes me think, how many times before now have I done what seemed like the right thing? You know, followed my gut like I taught you, without realizing there was a better option. This whole introspection thing kinda sucks, I've gotta say. She looks up at you, scowling. It's much more comforting to just assume that all of my past decisions were right. Sure it is. It's intellectually dishonest, but it's definitely comforting. She bites her lower lip. Yeah. You know, Seattle, you aren't helping my mood any. I'm kind of having a rough time over here. She begins to pace, kicking piles of dirty clothes and blankets out of the way. Thrusting her hands into her pockets, she fishes out madness and folly and tosses them down into her cot. I don't do this very often. Reflecting is for mirrors, not devastatingly attractive street shamans. I don't know how you hand-ringers deal with feeling this way. It's pretty simple. We acknowledge our mistakes and our near misses and we own up to them. Okay, I've pretty much got that step covered. What's next? What comes after this? After you suffered through your embarrassment for a while, you try to learn something from it. Ha! Your way is boring, Seattle, and it's complicated, and it comes with way too many bad feelings. She scowls. But yeah, I get it. There's probably even some value there. I'm never going to start second-guessing everything that I do, though. That just isn't me. Good, because that would be dumb. Don't question yourself before circumstances give you a reason to. Right, that makes sense, I guess. Alright, Seattle, I'll give it a shot. Who knows, maybe there's some value in hand-wringing after all. I guess we'll have to see. Anyway, things turned out the way that they did. I don't know what might have happened if we tried to do something different, but there's one thing that I can say for certain. Things are better in Hung Hom Bay than they were before we went to the sinking ship. We did some good out there. That's something. Yeah, it is. Oh, actually, there are two things that I can say for certain. I think that Rat is happy that the shiny object is gone. She fishes in her pocket for a few seconds and produces a chunk of stone the size of a marble. It appears to be made of the same marbled red jade that the shiny object was. Check it out, she gave me a present. Gobbet, are you sure that came from Rat? Of course I am. I had a vision. It had colorful lights, dancing rodents, the works. And when the world came back into focus, this magic marble was in the palm of my hand. She tosses the stone into the air and catches it with her other hand. Neat, huh? Now, I don't know quite how it works yet, but I'm sure that it does something. I mean, it has to, right? Rat wouldn't just give me a normal rock. She's a trickster and all, but that'd be mean. So mark my words, the next time we're in the field, something magical is going to happen. I mean, literally magical. It'll be a journey of discovery for both of us. I'll be looking forward to that. Me too. And, thank you, Seattle. I really, really mean that. You can fly by my side anytime. Thanks, Gobbet. Okay, so talking to Isabel, I believe, is going to trigger the next thing. So we should avoid talking to Isabel for the time being. As much as I love her and think she's good, is Ractor gonna have much else to say to us? Nope. We are officially done speaking with Ractor. Are we done speaking with Gaichu? Ooh, we are. Aw. I kind of regret not having read this whole thing. I didn't actually expect it to be, like, deeply interesting. But it was. Alright. I'm probably gonna take a brief break for caffeination, but then, I think we're just gonna beeline these last 3 jobs. So we can... Hello? Okay. I don't like the Wampoans very much. Hey. That seems fucked up and not good. Where'd Maximum Law go? Huh? Did I miss something with him? Does he have his own, like, little personal quest that prevents this from happening? Or is this just, like, a temporary thing that happens in between runs? That is somewhat devious. Which run do I want to go on? Why is one of the jobs not available to me? Dig site, geometric sabotage. The data retrieval is not one that I can do right now. Does it only offer 3 in the menu? That seems silly. Let's just do them in order, I guess. Let's bring a Decker would probably be good. Bring Gobbet. Well, you know what? Let's just go with the party that we have been going with lately because it's a good party. Very well balanced.